Yep, there it is. What's going on, world? Make sure everything good. Monday check-in, actually. I had to hit the Monday check-in. I think the last time I did something was probably it was like Friday morning. No, sorry, Friday night. But Friday night was right before my job interview in the morning, and after the job interview, I had a little. Uh, I had my suit on that day, so I was like, let me just keep the suit on because I don't want to wear two extra sets of clothes to sweat in for that day. And I had an extra. Basically, I had my suit on, went to the Gullet Stuffer, which was a Beyblade event. I'm gonna work on that footage today. And then, you know, Sunday, Sunday morning, afternoonish, we had our tabletop meetup. Excuse me, our tabletop tournament because the meetup was more or less canceled. I mean, people could have showed up. Maybe I should have just not canceled it and just left it the way it was, because people could still show up and just hang out and blade. But we encourage people to kind of join the tournament and just participate. You know what I'm saying? That's our main thing. We kind of just try to get people to participate. Um, but yeah, I gotta work on some footage stuff, put stuff together, make sure I send the right um, elongated like 2 minutes or more matches to certain bladers. Make sure I set that up. But no, man, I swear to God, like every time I go home, I say what it's to say. Like even though it was a great weekend, but it was a long weekend. I will say like there's there's a weird time period between like 1 and 3, or like I just have trouble sleeping. So I didn't even sleep till like 3 something. Somehow I managed to wake up around like 8. But like I said, my body naturally, if the light's shining through my window, I'm gonna wake up. You know what I mean? If it's not doing that, then it's like my body naturally wakes up around 6, 7 normally. Um, I've been hearing this a lot where it's like you have a good internal clock, which is probably true. Because I don't ever use an alarm. I just either I wake up or I sleep in. It's one or the other. But normally I don't sleep in. Normally I have these little like lapses in my sleep where I just wake up randomly, and I ask myself like, what's the reason for this? That's just something I need to do today, and I just go straight back to sleep. Because sometimes it's just habit to always be awake around 7 or. But I'm like groggy. I'm not like fully awake, if that makes sense. But yeah, it'd be like 5, anywhere between like 4 and 7 in the morning. Like I have these random wake ups, basically. Um, but no, I've been having like trouble. It's to the point where it's like maybe I should go outside and start hitting the pre-recording or hit the live chat. Like maybe it's just like my body telling me like, hey, you miss doing these little check-ins. You miss doing these little lives and whatnot. You miss getting hopping on live and just checking in with people and talking about yourself, etc. Like there's things that you need to get off your chest or speak your mind a bit. That's just something that it kind of lingers in the back of my head. Like maybe that's what the situation, the scenario is. That's probably how I feel. You know what I mean? So um, I was feeling that last night. Pause, and then it was to the point where it's like maybe in the morning you'll do it, and then this morning I'm like I should probably go straight to the library or something. But at the same time, the way it played out was like, you know what, man, let me just sit down somewhere like I normally do. You know what I'm saying? Just do whatever. F1, what's going on? F1, how you doing, bro? Thank you for dropping in F1. Appreciate it, man. But yeah, it just had me thinking this morning, like maybe I'm neglecting this. You know what I'm saying? Oh, JD, what's good, man? It's good to hear from you, man. JD, you missed out. It was a great weekend. I mean, you're kind of deep though, but even then, it's like it's like if we have more events more south, maybe come out to those. These ones are pretty good though. It was like 2 Seattle ones back to back on a Saturday and Sunday, but I think you would have enjoyed it, man. One was actually like a what is it? It was a food eating contest, and we were like having our thing on the side, and then when we decided who our finalists were, we were in between amateurs and pros in the eating contest, which was kind of cool. And then the one yesterday was actually at TTV at tabletop, and that was cool. That was fun actually because it was like hella people showed up, some random kids, and then actually one of the kids that showed up at the fucking food contest the other day. We told him, hey, just come to tabletop on Sunday. He showed up and then he signed up for the tournament. His parents had him, or parents made an account for him. You missed it, man. It was dope though. It was just dope, bro. But I'm happy to see you, JD. Nonetheless, Tesla official. What's going on, man? F1. I'm in the US, man. I'm in the USA, bro. I'm over here, USA. I see if the sun is in the background. I don't know if you can see between the trees. It's hella bright. Uchiha's back. What's going on, Kai Uchiha? Welcome, man. Yeah, yeah. Something told me I was like last night in the morning. Something told me I'm like, man, I should probably like get on live. This is like 3 in the morning. Like I should probably charge the phone up and hit the live stream real quick. But I'm like, it's fucking 3 in the morning, dude. What am I thinking? But I just couldn't sleep. And then somehow I found a way to go to sleep around 3. Tired myself out by just listening to shit on the on YouTube or whatever, kind of just doom scrolling. And I'm like, bruh, I can't keep doing this. It's not good for my eyes or my like brain or whatever at night. I already know. You know what I'm saying? Kayuchi, what's going on, man? How you doing? Roscoe, what's going on, bro? F1, do I play games? I mean, if you go on the channel, you check the videos in the playlist section, you'll see the games that I play. They're mainly RPGs though, bro. So it's mainly like RPGs and shit like that. No, oh shit, nobody was good, man. You guys can't see it, but there's hella ants on this table, so I might have to move. Might have to shift. Damn, might have to shift over to the next part. I'm on some vagabond shit. But yeah, you're doing good. That's what's up. Hey, nobody, I appreciate you dropping in, man. Appreciate it, man. You're depressed. What's going on, man? Talk to me. What you depressed about, man? You know the simplicity of, well, I don't know. Excuse my French. I'll say it differently. Matter of fact, there's no other way for me to say it. I gotta express it. The simplicity of depression is basically like living in the past. So if you're dwelling on something that you can't control or dwelling on something that you can't change, just try to think about what you can do right now, if that helps. You know what I mean? Because people talk about anxiety a lot, but it's like the simplicity of anxiety is like you can't anticipate what's never happened. If it hasn't happened yet, then what are you worrying about? You know what I mean? And the thing about depression is like if it's not happening anymore, what is there to worry about? It's very simple, and it's hard because our minds can't help but replay negative stuff. But it's like it's worth talking with yourself about, if that makes sense. Because I say things like this because as much as I had like access to like therapy and therapeutic spaces like massage therapy and shit like that, it's like I forget that some people don't really have the budget for it, or sometimes they don't even have like the access just in general for it. But this is where you have to apply a bit of knowledge just to take care of yourself, because that's the real truth, man. The only person that's really there for you is yourself at the end of the day. 24/7, it's you dealing with you, man. So I don't know what level of depression you're at, but hopefully it's at a low one. Hopefully what I'm saying helps too. And if it doesn't, at least hopefully it at least makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry to do. It's crazy. Look at this. It was dope. They were watering the plants today. There's just some problems you have. Yeah. So even if they're like minor problems, I'm not trying to single you out. I'm just kind of saying it in a broad way, so that way anyone else dealing with something similar maybe can relate. But yeah, if it's like a small thing, yeah, make sure you try to take care of it. If it's a small thing and you can take care of it right away, I would say try to take care of it right away, because you never know what might grow. You know what I mean? You never know if like that small problem could get worse. You never know if it can fester and get a little larger and stuff like that. How's it going? That's just advice. That's not just for you, but anyone listening, I would say that's just my thought on it. And I deal with, I'll be honest with you, man. I deal with that too. I think, if I'm honest, to a certain level and to a certain degree, I probably dealt with that last night. I think I was just thinking about, like, I don't know, like those weird, like conversations you have with yourself. I'll speak for myself, right? Those conversations I have with myself where I'm overthinking, something that might happen. So I'm anticipating something, but then I'm also overthinking. Oh, I am wired the way I am because of everything I went through, and it's like, excuse me, it's a little unfair to myself as much as it's like it's not happening no more, dude. Like, why am I still thinking about it? But nonetheless, like I go through that too, man. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It kind of helps to. Obviously, it always helps if you have someone to talk to about it. I've kind of noticed, like in certain communities, friendships and family and stuff like that, that I used to feel upset about, like, oh, why don't these people want to talk to me anymore? Like every time I bring up my problems, why don't people want to help me out and listen to my problems or help me out with my shit? So I felt a little isolated before, personally. But in the long run, I realized, based off of my personality, kind of how I am, I'm like, right or wrong, the way I went about things was probably varying. And it's probably, you also got to think about, for me, I started realizing I'm doing a whole lot of sharing about myself sometimes. And I can also hold space for people. That's just me. That's my threshold. I can hold space for you. I can open up about myself. I can pay attention to multiple people at once, or just like keep in mind of multiple people's like problems in their lives and check on them. That's just how I am. But not everyone has the threshold to do that. So it's like me asking, me hoping that people will have that time and energy for me is it was a little unfair, if that makes sense. It's unfair to them because they don't have the same like not pain. I'm not trying to say pain threshold, but like a tolerance for other people's stuff. I don't think that makes me a healer necessarily. If that makes, what I mean. Like some people feel they're healers or they're builders in life. Like they just need to create things. I'm somewhere in the middle. I've always felt like a hybrid of things, and that's because whenever I'm not doing enough of one thing, I extremely do the other thing. If that makes sense. But because I haven't been taking advantage of social media during the time period I should have in my early 20s. Here you see me now in my fucking 30s doing this shit, which is funny. So that's just kind of how I go about my whatever the word is. I don't even know the words right now. I don't know if I want to sit out here. I'm gonna do it. I be beefing with this park sometimes, but it ain't bad. It's also like super bright today, but it's also like not like what's the word I'm looking for? Hold on, let me put this down. It's manageable basically. I might have to flip this camera. I'm gonna sit over here. I'm tripping. Let me move spots, bro. Can you ask a question? I guess as long as it's appropriate. I say that in a funny way, but I'm also being serious. Like, as long as it's appropriate, if you think it's okay. My thing is, as long as you're not incriminating yourself or whatever, or saying nothing crazy. But I'm here to listen, man. I'm just putting my backpack down, but go ahead and talk to me, bro. I'm here to. All right, let me see. Oh, it's got Dion. It gets automatically flagged, Dion, when you try to do the dumb troll shit. But yeah. Do I have a brother? Yeah. I'm the youngest. I'm the youngest of my brothers, man. Is Diddy good? Actually, that's a good question, Dion. That's actually a good question to think about. It's interesting, right? Let's say the court of law finds you not guilty of certain stuff. What's going on, Rob? Let's say I got a name. It's like hella bright. Hold on. Let's say the court of law finds you not guilty of certain stuff. That means that technically you're not guilty of certain charges based off of like technicality, right? So what's interesting is like on a technical level, whatever he was being charged for, he might be innocent of, if that makes sense. But because there's actual footage of him beating on a woman in a hotel, you know what I'm saying, beating on Cassie, and there's history of him being a strange individual sexually or whatever towards people, you'd have to ration for yourself. Like, you see this, what I'm trying to say? Like, for me, I don't think I agree with that because on a very basic and physical level, like, you take a room full of women and men, and it's like you take the most lightest of women and men in that same room. Let's say they're all like 120 pounds or some shit. The dude still has the testosterone advantage, just simply. You know what I mean? That's not to belittle our women. It's just to be honest about it. Even if those women were athletic, like you've seen it historically, where it's like the women's soccer team will sit there. This is like grown women. Their soccer team will lose to the high school boys team. There's like a testosterone level where it's just like, oh, these kids at 16 to 18 are just advanced physically thanks to testosterone and just eating correctly. Those girls don't necessarily have the testosterone the women or the dudes have naturally. and they're eating the same kind of diet, but then they still can't keep up. They work out a little more. They've been working out for longer, but it's just the simplicity of that. You know what I'm saying? I definitely a weirdo. Yeah, he definitely a weirdo. The court protected him because of the Epstein list. See, and that's the thing is like, if I'm going based off of like the actual charges, I didn't really. What I'm saying is I didn't look into the case, so it's like I don't know what he was actually being charged with, but he could actually technically be innocent off of the certain charges. But does that make him a good person? Probably not. He's still someone who would, swing on his girl for not committing to certain stuff, which is crazy. It's like, yeah, the point I'm making is like if you have the physical advantage over any group of people, whether that's a gender or like a child or whatever like that, like if you have that advantage, why would you take advantage of it by beating on them? And that's where I'm like, that's kind of where I draw the line with them, if that makes sense, you know? So, yeah. Now, does that make him a good person or a bad person? It's funny because on one hand, it's like he's on a large scale, like in the TV in front of everyone. So it's like the whole world is watching and judging for themselves. Like, does that make him a bad person? And it comes down to like, if you know anyone just like him who's like mentally fucked up, you know what I mean? But they just can't afford hotel rooms, but then they do the same weird sadistic sexual shit to women and male strippers and weird shit, male escorts, whatever. Does that make sense? Like if you find someone like that in real life that does some similar things, but like on a low scale level, because he's like rich, it's like you wouldn't bat an eye, but because he's doing it on such a high millionaire level, it looks really evil because he's taking advantage of time and money. I think like it's interesting because whether it's him, oh, you got an ant on my coffee, get out, bro. Anyway, there's a if you look at him and the whole Kanye accusations, or even as far back as like Cosby and R. Kelly and shit, it's like I'm not saying they didn't do those things because I wasn't there, but I will say the amount of people that jump on all the time to try to get money out of some shit that goes like to Cosby to R. Kelly, like the amount of people that are like bandwagoning and jumping on for the opportunity to get money to sue someone is like that's just as predatory as the actual actions that those men were doing, if that makes sense. So it's like, yeah, they're terrible for, spiking drinks. They're terrible for forcing women to do shit that they didn't want to do. But then it's also like the other side of it is there's like women who are waiting for the opportunity to jump onto the there's a train, there's a gravy train right now that exists where we could just all jump in and sue. I have a story to tell. I'll have a story to tell. He flew to my area, he whipped my ass, and da da da. Like it's just all these weird stories that came out that may or may not be true. So it's really interesting. On one hand, it's funny because like everyone's like, yeah, he's a grown man that could finally come home to his kids. And I'm like, them kids is grown and they're taken care of financially. So it's like, I'm not trying to say they don't need their dad in their life, but this mentally fucked up person, as we would say in this, like, yeah, he needs some fucking help, but I don't know if I want to help someone that fucked up. You know what I mean? That was the whole R. Kelly situation. People were like, oh yeah, R. Kelly, man, he's a troubled person. He needs help. I'm like, yeah, that's true, but as fucked up as he is, I don't know if I want to be the one to help him. Are you willing to be the one to help him? So I don't know if we should say that. Like that's how fucked up he is. Like the whole time he had a crew of people around him touring with him while he was doing all this weird shit. There was a crew of people like in the studio hanging out with R. Kelly, and nobody felt the need to pull his coattail or pull him back. Like that's kind of crazy to me. You know what I mean? Like that's what's weird about like the bigger picture. I think about this all the time. The bigger picture with these celebrities that get caught up with good or bad stuff, it's like where's the team around them to kind of pull their coattail? Are you telling me like they don't exist? Like I'm pretty sure they exist. Like I'm pretty sure like they were all there. There's like a whole entourage of people that benefit from being in the studio around R. Kelly and shit like that. I don't know. I actually work with a dude. He was from Chicago. I work with a guy who used to be from Chicago. I'm not trying to out anybody, but it's just kind of funny because he said, yeah, man, R. Kelly knew my family because he's from the South Side. My coworkers from the South Side. He said, yeah, my family kind of knew R. Kelly's people, and when they found out who we were and like the fact that he was a veteran, they would invite him to come to shows for free. He's like, man, that's my Chicago people. Come to the shows for free. You know what I mean? Oh shit, there's a little ant over here. He's like, just come out to the shows for free. So he's like, yeah, I used to get the hookup all the time whenever he performed in Chicago and we're in town. Like my family would be able to come hang out, and we'd just be like sometimes near the front, sometimes in the middle, and we'd just be vibing R. Kelly. But that shit he's going through, shit, good luck to him. Fuck all that. And it's just one of them things where it's just like, you know, it's just this like you just I don't know how that makes sense. They just have people around them that just like you're around but you're not around. So there's like layers, you know what I mean? There's that weird layer of protection where it's like you're taking care of these people, But then who are the people inviting them and facilitating that? There's always a group of people around you. My bad. I can't get carried away if you get what I'm trying to say. The team you, just like Diddy team you. That's what's. But see, that's the other crazy part is like for all the shiesty shit that Diddy did, it's like he's finally getting his just desserts or whatever. Because I mean, if you think as far back as like Shine was like kind of sticking up for him and was willing to fight and kill for him, and then Shine ends up going to jail, and somehow Diddy's just out being himself the whole time. Like he's just out there. You know what I mean? Like I think about that shit sometimes, where it's like, Suge is, for a while, Suge was the same way. He was just kind of out and about. He had to get shot at, and he had, what I'm saying? He had to get shot at and everything. He not saying he didn't go through shit, but it's like everybody's going to jail on behalf of you, and everyone's getting shot and killed on behalf of you or in relation to you. You know, what I mean? You can argue that Tupac kind of died of his own actions or his, whatever, because that's a longer story. That's a bigger story, but like, yeah, man, it'd be like that sometimes. So I question a lot of people that are in charge. That's with anything, man. That's with anything, bro. Like I'll sit there. I'll have to give you an example. Like this weekend in the Beyblade space, I wasn't necessarily in charge of the actual event, but it's funny because like I took care of a lot of cleaning and just like facilitating, making sure people are okay. But it's like there's a level of I'm over here doing the little groundwork type shit for free because we're doing some grassroots shit. But it's like if people don't start following suit and carrying their own weight, or just throw away your own trash. Just throw away your own trash and take care of your table. If people don't start doing that, then I'm just not gonna do shit. I'm just gonna stare and watch. Like, oh no, I'm good. Not today. You know what I mean? Like I'm over here with my phone out recording my shit. I'm gonna just keep doing that thing. But when people are just, I don't. That's where I start drawing the line with people. Actually, I will say, I don't know, Rob, you're probably still there. It's funny because I don't know if I should say funny, but I'll say Mike Vick. Mike Vick is the most solid person I know, or one of the most solid people I know. Like, not that I know him in person, but if you think about the situation, it's like apparently this dude, and I could be wrong, I didn't look into the details, but it's like he got arrested because he had like a dog fighting ring, it was like an operation where it's just like a whole ring of people or whatever, or it's dog fighting, but somehow he's the only one arrested. So it's like it's really interesting because it's like, was he just fighting the dogs by himself? No, I don't think he was. I don't think he was fighting the dogs by himself. I just think that he was a part of it, and more importantly, him being a solid person, he took the rap for people that were ill-equipped for the whatever. You know what I'm saying? Even though he was like the real, because he's the money guy, he's the real crowdfunder for this shit. So I think about that sometimes, where it's just like, I'm sure he wasn't doing it by himself, but yeah. What's going on, Alex? There's two Alexes now. What's going on? There's Alex and then there's Alex John. But yeah. So I think about that, man. It's like, oh, he wasn't doing no dogfighting ring by himself. There has to be more people in the associated thing, but somehow he's the only one that gets, because of what he holds the space, because he has the money, because he has the whole whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe that's what it is, but it's also like, don't people on a lower level get arrested for that? So like he just sat there and took the rap for the whole thing, and that's solid. So it's like, where do you draw the line? Do you draw the line where like you got Bill Cosby taking advantage of women, and then you got R. Kelly taking advantage of specifically minors, and then you have Diddy specifically taking advantage of sex workers or escorts, and basically turning his wife or girlfriend, whatever the fuck, however you want to classify Cassie, into like this little fuck doll puppet kind of thing that's just at his whim. Like you remember, like she was dating Ryan Leslie, who was her songwriter slash producer at the time. Like that first album, it's all the credits go to Ryan Leslie doing the lyrics and the production, and they were dating together and shit. And then right away, somehow, like after that first album, she gets pulled away, and Diddy just is dating her, and then pretty much is in control of her from that up to that point. Takes her away from Ryan Leslie. So it's like, dude is exercising power as much as she wanted to go and leave. You know what I mean? Like, so there's some voluntary shit there as well. But I just look at the minor details sometimes. They always say the devil's in the details, but I look at the minor details here and there. I'm not saying shit is right or wrong. I just be looking at shit like that because it's like, people know what's going on. Right and wrong, people know what's going on.